Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more interesting stories like these. Now, let's get into today's story video. Ada for telling my parents to kick my sister out. When my sister was 16 years old, she decided to run away from home. I'm not sure why this is happening right now. My parents will never tell me. In addition, I was too young to recall any of it at the time. I have no recollection of my sister's activities before her disappearance. She came home a few months ago after almost 14 years of living abroad in various countries. In truth, my father and I were in a good mood at the time, despite the fact that I was thinking, a stranger has come. My sister is the most shady B*TCH I've ever seen in my life. I have no idea where she was before she returned, with whom she was living when she was 16, or how she managed to stay alive. She claims to have a bachelor's degree in early childhood psychology, but she is unsure if she has earned a master's degree. She doesn't say whose company she worked for. She just says that she was recently let off as a result of COVID. For further information about the story, please see the following. I had become used to living on my own. You might think of her as one of those aunts you hadn't seen in years, who would come up to you and say, "You've grown so much. Do you remember how I used to wipe your buttocks when you were a small person?" She isn't genuine at all, very shady. Even when I express my discontent, he embraces and touches me. Nothing I say is taken into consideration, whether it's about how I organize my area or about sensitive political matters. The fact that my parents kicked her out is important because she feels betrayed by them. She claims that they could have called me at any time and brought me back, but they didn't. I know my parents better than anybody else, definitely better than she does, and they are not the kind of people who would throw their own daughter out of the house. You have no idea how many days they stayed up at night, praying to God to find a reasonable way for you gullible bigoted. Important, my parents have agreed to financially assist her if she pursues more education. So rather than seeking a new job, she is pursuing online degrees and certificates. She, on the other hand, isn't interested in learning for the sake of it. Despite the fact that she is a chronic slacker, my parents continue to provide her with pocket money. I appreciate that my parents are well off, but I loathe the fact that they constantly side with her in everything these days. When it comes to who does errands, who fixes things around the house, who gets a better gift, she gets actual birthday stuff, and who gets more money for New Year's, it's all up to me. And how does she intend to pay them back? Because she is squandering their money by pretending to be at school, which she is, but you get the point, and hating them behind their backs, she has earned their contempt. Because of my parents' prejudice, I had a falling out with them and shouted at them to put my sister out of the house. She was party for Halloween. In essence, they humiliated me by claiming that I'm insensitive and that I don't even make an effort to be a great sister. I informed them that she was tearing us apart and that we had previously been happy, and that they were fools for failing to see her lies. After giving it some thought, I realized that the only reason they accept her is because they were feeling guilty all those years before and are just making up for lost time by tolerating her now. What is Ada's role in this narrative? Update. In order to comply with the character limit, I was unable to list everything she did to anger me. Allow me to explain more. There were no reasons why I feel she should be put out in the 7 reasons. Instead, they were a history of her character. When she first arrived, I had no problems with her or anything, but it soon became apparent that she was ungrateful and had lied about a lot of things to make my parents feel bad. She also said that she had no intention of reuniting with my parents in the future. However, she had previously bragged to me about her drug usage and underage alcohol use, as well as forced me into participating in shady activities that I did not want to participate in, so I feel I'm correct in declaring that she is very shady and that I do not like her. When I was younger, I had disagreements with my parents because I considered they were unfairly biased, and I was trying to urge them to wake up since they could have thought her personality was the same as when she was 16 years old. She's also said stuff like, "If I had the ability to everyone, I would," which made me feel sick to my stomach. Story 2. Ada for no longer bringing dinner for my wife after she claimed I never cooked. I work as a chef at a good restaurant, and every day when I come home from work, I make supper for my wife and our 2 children, 8 male and 6 female, at the restaurant. The only time I don't cook for them is on weekends when I'm out working, and that's when my wife does. Every other day, we alternate who cooks breakfast and who looks after the kids, but during the week, I'm always the one who brings home supper. On weekends, we sometimes get together with friends who come over to our place. My wife normally cooks and I assist in setting the table and cleaning up afterwards. One of her friends, Stacy, inquired as to why I never do any of the cooking and why it is always on my wife to prepare meals for the kids, despite the fact that I am a chef myself. Instead of correcting her, she smiled and made jokes about "you know how it is." Stacy giggled since her ex-husband was the same, and then kind of ripped on me in a joking tone about how I should toughen myself before I become an ex as well. My wife merely responded, "Let's see if he listens," and begins cooking for a change. I'm joking about how much time I spend in the kitchen at work, but not at home. It truly irritated me. I'm not the kind of spouse that does nothing once I get home from work. I cook for her and the kids at work, and I prepare distinct meals for each of them, what she wants and what the kids want. All of this after being on my feet all day. We spoke about it after they went since I don't like being told I'm not doing something she knows I am. She didn't want to apologize since it was all meant to be a joke. Even when I told her how much it hurt my emotions to be talked down like way. My wife said that she felt obligated to participate in the joke so that there would be no uncomfortable feelings, whatever that means. But I told her that if she couldn't apologize for something cruel just so she can laugh with her pals, then I won't continue doing something she already says I don't do. I've just brought home meals for our kids for the last week, and she's had to cook for herself. She's upset because I'm refusing to feed her because of what occurred instead of letting it go, but I can't help but be upset about being made fun of like that when I'm working my tail off to care for my family and still make sure they have food on the table every evening. She simply thinks I'm a jerk for behaving the way I do when she's exhausted at the end of the day, but still has to cook for herself. Ada. Update. I wasn't going to write another update, but since things have improved, why not? I did share my wife this message until a few days later, as several recommended, but she wanted to chat before night. And she apologized for how she'd been treating me, for making those jokes and allowing her buddy to say things about me, and for how she'd acted afterwards. In actuality, she knew she had done wrong, but when I called her out on it, she became defensive, and she realized she was behaving like a kid after seeing how much I do for our family. I showed her the post at that point, and opened up about something I expressed in my comments, how that really touched a chord for me, making it seem as if I'm a bad parent/husband when my father was exactly that. He abandoned me and my mom. She understands how vital it was for me to be as active as possible with our children's births because I never wanted to be like him. So her portraying me in that light triggered some emotions. Telling her this made her feel like she had messed up big time. She wouldn't stop apologizing, and she vowed she'd never treat me that way again. And, to be honest, I believe she demonstrated that she meant her apologies. For a week, she insisted on fixing supper for everyone so that I could rest after work. It was lovely, but I missed cooking for my family. Cooking for my children is my personal way of showing my love for them, so we're going back to that. I believe my wife has expressed her regret and appreciation for everything I do for our family. She even brought it up the last time we had lunch with her pal a few days ago on my day off. As enraged as I was at the time, it's encouraging to see she's made an attempt to make apologies. I appreciated feeling heard when it seemed like my wife wasn't at the moment from the support I received here.